Cross the border between the United States and Canada, and you might think you're stepping into the same country with a different flag. Same movies, same language, the world's longest undefended border. But the moment you actually cross it, things get a little weird. Today we're playing cultural ping pong. 10 things Americans find baffling about Canada, and 10 things Canadians find bizarre about the US. Let's start with the thing you notice immediately: the money. For Americans heading north, Canadian cash is an instant curveball. The bills are plastic, brightly colored, and have a transparent window built right in. Instead of paper ones and twos, you get heavy coins, the loonie and toonie. To an American tourist, it feels like paying for dinner with Monopoly money. Canadians going south hit the opposite surprise. Paper dollar bills are still everywhere. Contactless payments isn't as universal, and some smaller businesses are cash only. For Canadians used to tapping their card everywhere, it's an adjustment. You can't talk Canadian quirks without mentioning bagged milk. In parts of Ontario and Quebec, with occasional regional use elsewhere, milk is sold in sealed plastic bags you drop into a pitcher and snip open. To most Americans, it looks like a genuinely puzzling way to handle dairy. Canadians crossing into the US are just as stunned by how alcohol is sold. In Canada, retail liquor is mostly regulated through provincial authorities, with limited grocery store availability depending on the province. In the US, rules vary widely. In some states, you can buy whiskey at a gas station or pull up to a drive-thru liquor window. That's not something most Canadians have ever seen at home. Next up, coffee. Tim Hortons is Canada's largest coffee and fast food chain, and the double-double, or 2 creams, 2 sugars, is so standard most Canadians don't even think about it. American visitors have to learn the vocabulary fast if they want their coffee right. Americans aren't short on coffee culture either, but drink sizes at US fast food chains can genuinely shock Canadians. Soft drink cups in the 30 to 32 ounce range are common, and some go even larger. For Canadians who aren't used to it, the sheer volume of ice and soda takes some getting used to. Ketchup chips and all dressed chips are Canadian staples. You'll find them in any corner store without a second thought. In the US, they show up occasionally as specialty or limited edition items, and American visitors tend to do a double take at the flavor selection. Canadian visitors in the US get their own shock. The sheer range of peanut butter products is one thing. Then pumpkin spice season hits, and it's on everything: cereals, baking mixes, candies, coffee drinks. The scale of it, especially in fall, is hard to prepare for if you haven't seen it before. Poutine, fries topped with cheese curds and hot brown gravy. It's one of those foods that sound like a dare until you try it. It's a staple Canadian comfort dish, especially late at night. For Americans who haven't had it, the description alone tends to get a reaction. In the American South, biscuits and gravy means something completely different from what Canadians might picture. The biscuits are soft, savory quick breads, not sweet, and nothing like a British biscuit. And they're smothered in thick white sausage gravy. Canadians expecting something closer to a cookie with brown meat gravy are in for a surprise, usually a good one. Everyday life throws its own curveballs too. Historically, certain low-dose codeine combinations were available in Canada without a full prescription, something you could ask a pharmacist about directly. Health Canada and the provinces have tightened access over the years, so availability varies now and is mostly prescription only. For Americans who have never had that option at all, it still comes as a surprise. Canada also heavily restricts direct-to-consumer prescription drug advertising. You're not going to see a Canadian TV commercial where an actor lists benefits and then rattles off side effects for 30 seconds. That format is largely an American phenomenon, and for Canadians visiting the US, those ads can feel surreal. The cultural tone shifts again at the checkout counter. Canadians have a reputation for reflexive apologizing, the kind where someone bumps into you and you're the one who says sorry. It's not always conscious. It's just the default. American retail runs in the opposite direction. Greetings can be loud, warm, and very personal. Hi, how are you today? My name is so-and-so. Let me know if I can help you find anything. For more reserved Canadian shoppers, that level of enthusiasm can feel like a lot before you've even picked up a basket. Measurement is where the real confusion sets in. When an American sees a Canadian summer forecast of 30 degrees, it sounds like winter jacket weather. It's actually 86 degrees Fahrenheit, a hot day. Celsius and Fahrenheit don't translate intuitively, and the disconnect catches people off guard. Canada is officially metric, but everyday life is hybrid. Most Canadians measure their height in feet and inches, and talk about their weight in pounds, even though road signs use kilometers. Driving into the US means Canadians have to convert on the fly, and that gets old fast. That same unit confusion follows drivers straight onto the highway. An American driver sees a sign reading maximum 100 and for a brief glorious moment thinks it's a 100 mile per hour limit. Then the metric math kicks in. 100 kilometers per hour is actually a modest 62 miles per hour. Canadians get their own surprise once they're driving south. In Canada, exit numbers are almost always sequential. In the US, they're often based on mile markers. You'll pass exit 12 and suddenly see exit 45, wondering how you missed 30 exits in 2 minutes. And finally, the gas stations. Americans pulling up to a Canadian pump sees $1.65 and think they struck oil, assuming it's per gallon. Once they realize it's per liter, the real cost per gallon is a lot higher than it looked. Canadians road tripping south see $3.50 on a US sign and panic, thinking they're about to pay an astronomical price per liter. It takes a second to register they're getting a whole gallon, which makes American gas feel incredibly cheap. Our two countries share a lot, more than most people realize, but it's the small differences that stick with you after a trip across the border. If you're American, what caught you off guard the first time you visited Canada? And if you're Canadian, what's the American habit that still doesn't make sense to you? Drop it in the comments. I'm curious what people have run into. If you found this one interesting, please like and subscribe for more. And I'll see you in the next video.